There's something so painful to see a game you've been waiting for to come out, release, just for no one to play it. Not only must it be hard for those who truly enjoyed the game, but it certainly must be hard for developers to see their game fail without it sometimes being even given a chance at life at all. I feel some people have had their fair share of games that they've seen die right before their very eyes, and I am no exception. Whether it be that the game truly wasn't great objectively, failed to deliver on promises, buggy and broken on release, or they simply just couldn't grab the attention of players. Many games have fallen victim to this, and this is a topic I wanted to talk about for the longest. And finally, here we are. We've all seen it, we've all hated it. Sometimes, it's just dead on arrival. Quick disclaimer, these games may or may not have made a resurgence at the time of recording this video, and some of these games do still have small but loyal fan bases. Hell, even I'm a part of some of them. In this video, we'll be talking about a few games that I and a few others look forward to, played, or even play tested, and have quite literally shipped out dead on day one or in the first week. To start off, I'd like to talk about a game that shipped dead on one of its three platforms, Blade Strangers. This fighting game, created by Nicalis, featured characters from multiple games as well as a few original characters. The main selling point of this game was its featured fighters. Quotes in Curly from Cave Story, Gunvolt from Azure Striker Gunvolt, Isaac from The Binding of Isaac, and Shovel Knight from, well, Shovel Knight. This game came out on August 28th on Switch, PS4, and Steam, and there's a small player base still on Switch, and the largest community being on PS4, which is still not so big. Most fighting games are primarily played on PS4, but that doesn't change anything for this video, since other fighting games of similar style and concept are not dead on the last platform, Steam. I had gotten this game on Steam the day after its release, and immediately hit training mode to try out the characters. I fell in love with Quotes, Noko, and Ali, and after a few hours of playing, I felt ready to hit multiplayer. I love fighting games, so I'm always eager to start playing against people, to start getting involved with the community. To my surprise, I didn't find a single match after waiting for a long time. I then decided to take the Steam charts to see who was playing the game, and of course, I was the only one online. The amount of people who even purchased the game was in the double digits, which was already a red flag for me. As much as I love fighting games, I felt this one to be a waste of my time, as I would not be able to play against people. So after a few days of continuously checking the player count, I decided it's best to get my $40 back and spend it on a different game. I did promise myself to keep an eye on the player bases to see if it ever got better, but this game wouldn't be on this list if it had gotten better. When talking to my friends about the game after I refunded it, we felt as if the game was poorly advertised and neglected by Nicalis. They seemed to want to push their puzzle game Crystal Crisis to the forefront, as you would constantly see advertisements for this game rather than Blade Strangers. My friend even told a story of how he tried to find the game, but could only find things related to Crystal Crisis. A year later, I went to MomoCon, and they were allegedly holding a tourney for Blade Strangers, which I found surprising, but felt it could be reasonable as there are two other platforms with small player bases. While playing on the BB Tag arcade cabinet, while getting my ass handed to me at the BB Tag cabinet, I came across another BB Tag player. We talked for a bit, and he mentioned how he was going to participate in the Blade Strangers tourney, and the Arthur Million Arcana Blood tourney. The Blade Strangers tourney had allegedly only 4 people sign up, and was cancelled due to lack of entrants. Couldn't say I was surprised. The next game on this list is one that I was truly banking on having major success, and that game is Lawbreakers. I not only play tested this game, but took part in multiple beta tests, and I can say I truly enjoyed playing it, and have yet to play a game that has satisfied the same itch that Lawbreakers did. This game had a very successful public beta, but failed to pull in sales on both PS4 and Steam. And when asking friends why they wouldn't get the game, they said that they felt the price tag didn't match what they were truly getting. As much as I liked the game, I can admit that this game lacked content. Characters felt samey, there are few appealing maps, balance seemed to be an issue, and there were very few modes that were worth playing. One thing I think 100% killed the game was its price tag. If either free to play with microtransactions or had a lower price, I could see the game having a longer lifespan, as most of those who enjoyed the game refused to pay that $30 to access it when it finally released, and I was one of those people. I did plan on getting it, I was just waiting to have the money to get it. But by the time I was ready to purchase it, the game seemed to have died seemingly overnight. About a few days later, the player base had dropped considerably, and I held on to my money as I feared the game would continue to die. And my hunch paid off. The game died in a matter of a week. There was a small resurgence with a new content update, but that couldn't save it from its inevitable death. The game was eventually pulled from all platforms, and all servers shut down. The last game on our list is a game that died multiple times over. It was a game I was looking forward to. Out of all the games on this list, this one has to be one of the biggest fiascos. And that game is Bless Online. The game lasted longer than the other two games on the list, and even garnered a considerably large fan base, but everyone saw, felt, and knew the issues of the game, which eventually led to the game being taken down from the storefront, leaving people with the only hopes of Bless Unleashed, a console exclusive, to try and redeem the game. I was one of the many North American players who were hyped for the game, despite its previous failures. I was so hyped for the game that I purchased the package for the game that gave early access to play it, as well as a few other goodies. There were a few absurd packages that had price tags of triple digits that I felt did not need to exist. When I first launched the game, I was met with a long queue time that I waited in, for hours, just to have the servers crash. Then waited in another queue when they went back up. I luckily got in quicker than last time, but I was only met with a poorly optimized game, with clunky controls, combat that felt odd but bearable, and luckily many faces. Immediately, people were requesting refunds for the game, nonetheless, and rightfully so. But the devs were not accepting any requests for refunds, even if they met the Steam refunding guidelines. This prompted Valve to step in and force the Bless devs to accept refunds for copies of the game no matter what version they bought. I sensed a sinking ship, and hopped off with thousands of other players. From a distance, I slowly watched the game crumble, losing thousands of players by the day, and sometimes by the hour. Eventually, the game was pulled from Steam, without even getting all the promised content that was supposed to be there at launch. It's a damn shame to have seen this game fail again. These games stand as examples for game developers all over for how to not treat their games. There are many different games that have showed up dead, and these three games barely scraped the surface for all the games that have done so. And I hope that most devs learn from the mistakes of their peers and keep their games alive and healthy through development and into release. My name is CrossVee, and thank you for tuning into this video. Hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace.